I'm the Hoppy Ferret, and I'm here to review a beer I bought in a glass that I definitely didn't. And we've got a Vault City beer today. It's triple fruited mango. It's a 6.2% ABV modern sour beer. It's made with water, malted barley, oats, mango, and hops. I'm going to get into the ingredients in a little bit. I got this beer from Tesco. I think it was £3.85. It was definitely approaching the £4 mark, which is kind of the new ceiling that we're sort of seeing within the supermarket craft beer range at the moment. I think breweries tried to test the £4 mark, and I guess it didn't go too terribly well. I can't name off of the top of my head any of the bit. Vocation Doppelganger and Beavertown, was it Sun God, I think, was £4. Absolutely crap beer, not worth £4. I'm hoping that this is going to be worth the £3.85 or whatever it was that I paid for it. So let's find out. Vault City, I really like them. They make modern sours, as they describe it. And what that is, or as I understand it, that is thick. I'm going to leave a little bit and swirl. What I mean by modern sours, what I understand they mean by modern sour is they ferment their beer with lactobacillus and Saccharomyces. So it's co-fermented. Normally when you're making, or one way to make a sour beer is to kettle sour, so that's putting the lactobacillus in the wort and then you boil it off to kill it. So it produces the lactic acid in between pitching it and boiling it. To co-ferment it, I can smell the mango already. To co-ferment, it means putting both of these yeast types into the fermenter, and they work alongside. So you get the lactic acid produced by the lactobacillus in the fermentation. And Vault City, I think it definitely gives a different character to the beer. I'll leave that there. There's still a little bit in the bottom. What Vault City also do is put a hell of a load of fruit and other adjuncts in their beer. I say other adjuncts, definitely fruit. I don't know about the others. You have breweries like Tiny Rebel who sort of do something similar, adding a lot of adjuncts to the beer. Brewdog as well, with sort of more concentrates. This isn't brewed with concentrates. This is fruit, and you see how thick it is, and that is from the fruit. It's not from and some of the oats. But what I love about these beers is that they're not adding, as I said, these concentrates to the beer to give this sort of artificial fruit flavour. You get the fruit flavour, but it's artificial, and you can tell it. With these beers, it's not the case. That's why I read the beer, the ingredients on the can, and I'm going to tease you a little bit more. That's something else I'm going to discuss later on, but for now, I want to get the aroma on this, because I can already smell the mango. And it's kind of hard to pick anything else up. It's going to sound weird, you do smell the sourness, you do smell some of that lactic acid that sort of pinches the top of your nose. Very subtly, but a lot of it is kind of that hairiness from mango. I don't know if you ever eat mango and you sort of get that sort of prickling at the top of your mouth. Maybe it turns out I'm allergic to mango. I hope not, because I really like mango. And so I'm sure I'm going to like this beer. I want to dive in, but I kind of want to pick up something else. I'm just sort of getting the image of pink in my head, I don't know, it's sort of popping. It's not a very pink beer though, it's a very orange, thick orange beer. It could be fruit juice almost. Let's dive in. Cheers. I mean, mango, it does what it says on the tin. The malt presents as well, and some of the sourness, but I'll be honest with you, this is not, I don't know if you can see sort of how thick that is, that some of the residue from the can. This isn't punch you in the face sour, but it's thick. When I get all of that out, every little drop. Yeah, it doesn't punch you in the face. I think Vault City brew their beers to 3.4 pH. In terms of sour beers, I don't know how mega or how tame that sourness is, but on this beer, like, it dries out the mouth. It definitely makes me want to go back for more. It is that kind of weird thirst quenching sourness, but you know, we've also got to remember this is a beer that's gone into the supermarkets, and Vault City, they're not going to try to whack the pants off of, you know, some potentially unsuspecting customers who are picking this up for the first time. It's like triple fruited mango, what the hell? Especially with, as I keep alluding to, some of the concentrates that are going into these beers. I think, you know, it's definitely a segment that's, you know, people are going to want to explore, and if they're not really sure, you know, what a sour beer is or what it means, then they're going to be put off if it is overly sour. Man, even in the mouth, it's so thick. I'm putting it to my lips, and you don't normally get beers like this that are as thick. Oops. But yeah, I mentioned the mango. So it's got water, malted barley, hops, mango, and yeast. And I think there's a lot of question about these beers that's, you know, is it really beer? And my view on it is kind of, well, I mean, what is beer? You know, don't ask the alcoholic philosopher these sort of questions. But what is beer? If you go by the Reinheitsgebot, then yeah, it's water, malted barley, hops and yeast, and not mango. But I think beer is more the occasion. You know, obviously it's a drink. I'm drinking a beer, but there's an experience when it comes to drinking a beer. And I think you can say the same for tea or coffee. You know, you can get flavoured coffee. I've had coffee that's, you know, hazelnut flavour and stuff, and the stuff's crap. But it's still coffee. You make it, you have a latte, it's still coffee, and people aren't going to say yes or no about that. Teas I think a little bit more leeway in that category. You can get, your fruited teas, all that jazz. But it's the occasion. It's sitting down and having that beverage and enjoying it. And to get, I'm not going to say uptight about, is this beer? It's a very valid question. It's interesting to see where the industry is heading, because we didn't have this years ago. This is very new, it's modern. And beer isn't. Beer is a legacy drink. It's gone through years and years, millennia of history. At one point we didn't even know how it was made. People thought that it was a gift from the gods because it would ferment spontaneously. So is, the discovery of yeast, using different yeast strains, creating different yeasts, is that beer? Because the original Reinheitsgebot was only 3 ingredients. It was hops, barley, malted barley, and water. The Goza, it uses salt, albeit from the water, so probably not the best example, but to question whether this is beer, I think misses the point. And it's quite Nietzschean. Beyond good and evil, what is good, what is evil, what's beer? It doesn't matter. And I'm not one for. I'm not one for some of these beers with the ice cream concentrates, as they call them, or flavourings that aren't necessarily coming from those 4 core ingredients. But some people do, I think. I mean, people keep buying them. Maybe it's just all these beer reviewers that are buying them. That's how these beers are being sold. It's just beer reviewers. Yeah, does it matter? No. Some of that pink, that violet sort of colour, I think I'm just thinking of the mango, but there's something in there in this beer that I'm picking up. Well carbonated. And the thing that the reason why I want to give Vault City a pass on this, and other breweries that are doing this sort of thing, is fruit is a natural product, and so it sort of seems like it's it can go in beer. Like hops grow naturally, but some of these synthetic orange, peach, mango flavourings are not. So are those beers? Yes. They're just beers with concentrates in them. I think it's part of a wider discussion, but I'm ready to review, to rate. I've been doing the review. And it's thick. It's tasty. It's definitely mango. But you know what? To me, it's not quite sour enough. I'm removing the sourness from the equation and accepting the little amount that is there. And as I said, it's dry. It does dry the mouth out. It does leave us the residual sweetness at the back end, which I love from sours. But I just kind of want something that sort of throws me around the room a little bit more. And so this is a good beer. But for £3.80, and I think it was £3.85. It was within that region. I think I would rather pick something else. on the regular. So, you know, it's a 6 out of 10. It's a 6 out of 10 from Hoppy Ferret. I'm going to go enjoy this by myself. Cheers.